Obama and currently president of Rebuild the Dream, and Democratic strategist Paul Begala, who advised, maybe even, could you say, masterminded a pro-Obama super PAC. Paul, you said you hope that the president would talk warm and sort of like cuddly peace and unity today, but then go out and be ruthless, go for partisanship. What did you hear today? Did you think he did what he needed to?
I do not think it was partisan at all. It was philosophical. There's a time for partisanship, and he'll be partisan when the moment arises. This was philosophical. This was answering Ronald Reagan from 32 years ago. President Reagan gave, and his whole philosophy was intensively individualistic. President Obama answered that today. And he said, listen, that's an old speechwriter's, it's not a trick, device, anaphora, to repeat again and again, we the people, we the people. The first three words of our founding document, we the people. And he embraces that for a communitarian argument. He says to Ronald Reagan, we're stronger together. And I thought it was powerful, but it was philosophical. It was. I thought this was Obama at his best.
But I saw a lot of tweets, Alex and Margaret, from Republicans saying this was a call for big government, that he didn't reach out enough. What did you hear?
There was partisanship. It's hard to deny when he directly rebuked the GOP by saying we are not a country of takers, by defending big government liberal programs, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, by saying, but directly rebuking Paul Ryan and the 47% comment that got Mitt Romney in trouble. That there may have been high arching philosophical tones, but there were also those low undertones of partisanship.
Are you embracing that 47% comment? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm just saying. I wouldn't say. I don't know if it's fair to say it wasn't partisan at all.
Alex,
because this was not a speech where he stood up there and said, "My mission is to leave office like a Ronald Reagan, being the president who turned around an economy, restored the confidence of a nation in its place in the world." No, he turned inward, and he said, "My mission here is to pick up the legacy of Martin Luther King and expand it." As I think you've noted, that this is and that's not something he needs to work with Republicans in Congress for. It's something he doesn't need money for, by the way. It's almost, you're right, I think, a moral agenda, but it is a very left of center argument that he made today about government, and Republicans are going to go after him on that. This was a warrior president today. He's out to fight.
Before Van, there was a more of aggressive tone, you might say. Let's just play another moment from the speech.
Together, we determined that a modern economy requires railroads and highways to speed travel and commerce, schools and colleges to train our workers. Together, we discovered that a free market only thrives when there are rules to ensure competition and fair play. Together, we resolved that a great nation must care for the vulnerable and protect its people from life's worst hazards and misfortune.
America's problems, what he said in this speech today is that America's problem is not competing with the world. America's problem is lack of justice, social justice in America, and an egalitarian argument. Yeah, he focused inward, not outward today.
I see it somewhat differently. The way I see it is there is a conversation happening in America right now. I think when you have a country going through this much change, and I don't mean change brought by Washington, D.C., to your point, I mean change brought about by the world. Big demographic shifts in the country, Asia now being a real challenger outside. There's an identity crisis, I think, that any country goes through. And there's been a conversation. Who is America? What is America? What are we about? And I think he's been on the receiving end of a lot of attack saying his ideas are not American. So I think that what he did, which I'm glad he did, he was strong in his beliefs. He didn't back down from the fight or what he believed in, but he tried to cast them in terms and in tones that honored the founders, that honored Dr. King, that honored the best in the country. And I think in the old way of seeing things, that would be a left thing to do. He's speaking, though, to the emerging majority in America, which is brown, which is young, which is much more open to the ideas around marriage equality. He's speaking to the America that's rising. I don't think that's left versus right. I think it's the right versus wrong in the context of the new majority.
Well, if I could disagree a little, it seems to me to be left when you say government can't cure society's ills alone. In other words, The center of curing society's ills is always government. On occasion, government needs a little help. But that was,
did you hear that, Paul?
no, he said that today, though. He's being misquoted.
A critical distinction between the way President Reagan articulated his philosophy and the way President Obama did today is that President Reagan and many on the right begin from a premise of negativity. Government is the problem, not the solution, said President Reagan on those same steps in his first inaugural address. President Obama today did not bash business. He did not bash individuals. In fact, he went out of his way to praise a celebration of initiative and enterprise and insistence on hard work and personal responsibility, he said, as constants of our character. So he's, I think, trying to find a synthesis. You know, big government could not produce Thomas Edison or Steve Jobs, but profit motive could not have inspired Dr. King or Abraham Lincoln. And I think this president is trying to rebalance our national philosophy. This tension goes back to our founding between individualism and communitarianism. I think, as one who much more on President Obama's side, I love hearing him say that.
We got to end on that thought, but stay with us. We're going to continue this conversation with our panel after a quick break. We got a lot more to talk about how deeply the president infused his remarks today with the ideas and the lessons of Dr. King and the civil rights struggle. We'll be right back.
Consequence number 8, waking the baby. Robitussin liquid formula soothes your throat on contact, and the active ingredient relieves your cough. Robitussin, don't suffer the consequences.
Dad, math problem.
Hit me.
Golden Corral charges one low price for their new sirloin filet. Plus, you could get seconds or more. Plus, all the shrimp you want. So, how much does that juicy sirloin actually cost?
Honey, we're going to Golden Corral.
Yup, we just raised the bar on steak. It's new USDA sirloin fillets cooked just the way you like. Plus jumbo and new calabash shrimp on our endless buffet, still for one low price.
Math is my best subject.
Golden Corral, help yourself to happiness.
Power your escape. As alive as you are. Introducing Instinctive All-Wheel Drive from Jaguar.
Hey, happy birthday! Let's take a picture. Come on, just one smile.
Samsung Galaxy Note 2. Be creative.
Closed captioning brought to you by Franklin Templeton Investments.
A global leader in investment management for 60 years. Franklin Templeton Investments. Gain from our perspective.
Money, power, and politics. 360 investigates why it's so easy for our lawmakers to go from public interest to special interest. Anderson Cooper's keeping them honest. Tomorrow night at 8 and 10.
There's this island, and it's got super cute kangaroos.
Barrow Island has got rare kangaroos. Chevron's been developing energy here for decades.
We need to protect their environment.
We have a strict quarantine system to protect the integrity of the environment. 40 years on, it's still a Class A nature reserve.
It's our job to look after them.
It's my job to look after it.
Only half of all American consumers are satisfied with their smile. Does that include you? At Ocean Dental, we're changing lives, one smile at a time. As a premier cosmetic and general dentist practice, Ocean Dental uses state-of-the-art technology and the latest dental techniques to keep your smile healthy. Ocean Dental is a preferred provider of Invisalign, the clear alternative to braces. Located in the heart of the Richmond District, call Ocean Dental today and see how a few simple procedures can improve your appearance and self-esteem.
A special live Piers Morgan Town Hall event from the economy to guns. Can the president get it done?
America, God shed his grace on thee.
Looking there at James Taylor, today's inauguration ceremony, the steps of the U.S. Capitol. I want to quickly show you another moment as well, one that only a second-term president perhaps can experience, because when a first-term president stands before the country on Inauguration Day, he knows that that is what he's experiencing might never happen again. A two-term president, though, well, he knows it for sure. Mixing been there, done that, and last time ever, it's got to pack a serious punch today. Leaving the swearing-in ceremonies, President Obama appeared to feel it and paused, turned around, and said so. Watch.
Well done, Mr. Vice President. Great job. Thank you for taking care of your
President Obama looking at some 800,000 or so faces staring back at him, pausing briefly, turning back to look at the crowd. His daughter's notice called the presidential photographer, Pete Souza, over to try to capture the moment. Back now with our panel. Margaret Hoover is here, Alex Castellanos, Van Jones, and Paul Begala. There was a moment where the president's speech that's been getting a lot of attention today. I just want to play that.
We reject the belief that America must choose between caring for the generation that built this country and investing in the generation that will build its future. The commitments we make to each other through Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, these things do not sap our initiative, they strengthen us. They do not make us a nation of takers, they free us to take the risks that make this country great.
As you said, that was pretty much a reference to Paul Ryan, to Mitt Romney's comments on the 47%.
But Paul Ryan had a very generous tweet today saying, we're with the president today. I congratulate him on the day of the second inauguration. Today.
What happens tomorrow? That's the question.
This president is telling us he's expecting 4 years of war with Republicans, but he doesn't care about that to ensure his legacy. He doesn't, that's almost irrelevant now, because if he thinks the biggest problem in America is not our lack of economic growth, that we're facing a period of potential decline and bankruptcy, then our biggest problem is equality, the lack of social justice, and he's going to address that. And so he's going to leave office 4 years from now, not a hero like Reagan who turned the country around, but a hero like Martin Luther King, who took up the cudgels and said, look, the equality belongs to everybody in this country. Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, women, those who are disadvantaged. That's my mission. And guess what? Even if the country's broke, I don't need money for that. That's a moral movement I can lead and get on Mount Rushmore. So I think if you ask most Americans what the biggest problem is, they wouldn't say it's a lack of social justice. They'd say it's a country in decline.
Well, I think it's a false either or. I think there are two patriotisms now in America. There's a liberty-only patriotism that says it's all about my individual economic activity and opportunity and growth, and I'm for individual opportunity and growth. But there's also a liberty and justice for all patriotism, which is really where I think Obama stands. Obama is for our businesses doing better. He stood Wall Street back up. He stood our auto industry back up. But it's liberty and justice for all, and that kind of patriotism I think appeals more to the new governing coalition in America.
Right, I do think,
more to them.
I think this tone matters. Margaret's exactly right that line especially was a shot directly at Paul Ryan, who loves to talk about makers and takers and denigrate people who, like on Social Security and veterans benefits, who have earned government benefits. And I think this suggests perhaps a change in tactics for the president. I think in the first term, there was far too much of the prophet Isaiah. Come, let us reason together. And the Republicans weren't very interested in reasoning. They voted almost zero for his economic program and absolutely zero for his health care program. And they won a landslide midterm election for doing so. So the people rewarded them. Now I think he's switching to, maybe the prophet Ezekiel, as interpreted by Samuel L. Jackson. I will strike down with terrible vengeance, right? And a lot of Democrats have been looking for this. I mean, and it does show you that this perhaps, I think the Hagel nomination is a shot right at the neocons who clearly did not want Senator Hagel to become defense secretary. I think this fight over gun safety is a direct frontal assault on a fixed position by the NRA. It's very brave stuff he's doing.
And this president who stood there, though, and just said in that bite you played, Anderson, that we don't have to choose between investing in our kids and Medicare, this is the president who invented time travel. He has figured out how to time travel into the future and steal our own children's money.
Okay,
And he did that. But yet he's the one saying that, of course, Republicans just took a shot at Republicans for
Here's what I'm wondering,
forcing that battle.
I hear you. I hear both of you. I do think this is, I wonder, a tactical shift. Simply that last go around, he got pushed around so much by the Republicans. This time he's going to do the pushing. And if he knows, if he's going to have a legacy piece, if it's